Okay, hello and welcome back. Brett here with ClickMill.co. If you're watching, thank you so much for being here. And Sophie and Kate, so we're going to talk about multi-shot prompting, or multiple examples is basically what this is. Now, if you want it to have a very hard, if you want ChatGPT or one of these large language models to have a very strict output, for example, how I explained the emails from the last video on single shot prompting, and I only want it to output the same way, I'm just going to say, do it like this, single example, no questions asked, quotes, and then stick what I want in the quotes, and it's going to do it like that every time. If I want it to think more freely, then I'm going to give it more examples. So the way in which I'm currently thinking about this, which might be, if this is too broad, please let me know. I want ChatGPT to understand what's in my brain. And how do I do that? You know, if I want to have blogs come out more quickly with the best content I could possibly write, how would I do that? I would need to give it a huge range of examples of all of the things that I've written and said in the past. And so those would all be examples of how I would speak. So how would we do that? Well, I would go through all of my videos and pull the transcripts and put them into a file. I would go into all of our articles that I've written and pull those into a file. And I would go through all the course lessons and pull those into a file. And wherever all of the content is, I've created all my ebooks and pull those into a file. And I would provide it to ChatGPT and say, here are examples of positions that I take when consulting with ministry leaders. And from this information, like, when asked a question, base your positions off the positions in the training documentation, and then talk like me. And that is a much looser, it's not going to give any kind of exact output like blanks that we talked about in the single shot video, or, name, comma, last name, comma, email, but it is going to mirror the style creatively and spontaneously. And now that is still developing. Like, I wouldn't say it can do that perfectly, but it can write from training data, and so that's good. But that would be an example of a multi-shot prompt. Or for another example, and maybe a more specific example, would be with quizzes. So we have quizzes here in the back end of the course. I gave it a single example or single shot prompt and said, create me a multiple choice quiz like this. And then it's got, question, a period, what is that thing? Circle bracket. I forget what that is now. Print, but I don't know what it is. Anyway, and then answer. B period, circle bracket thing, answer. Okay, so C, D, and then correct answer, B. So it also gives us the correct answer, and that's the way it outputs. Now, if we wanted it to make questions of various kinds, I would just give it 5 examples of different kinds of quiz questions it could ask. Yes, no, long answer, whatever it is. And then we could mix it up and it would just randomly select whichever one it thought was best and create quiz questions based on that. And that would be a multi-shot prompt. And so it allows more creativity and more randomness and more intrigue and interest in the responses that it provides. Is that how do we feel about that? Is that making sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. So when we choose single shot or multi-shot, not really better. It's just a question of, how do you want that output to look? Do you want it to be tight and strict into a specific sort of layout, or do you want it to be more various? Quiz with multiple types of answers might be more interesting than just A, B, C, D. It just depends. So that is multi-shot prompting. And so we'll end this video and we'll move on to the next video, where we're going to talk, I think, about specificity within the prompt. And so we're going to do that in a moment, and we'll see you there.